Dear CEOs and industry leaders, you are most graciously welcome to Akul Mac Business Bunker. This is a forum where you are able to showcase your products to the masses, to the investor, to the prospects, and to your client. And if you want to promote your company and yourself, you have landed at the right place. Before we continue, do like and subscribe our channel. Friends, I have a very exciting information to share with you today, and this is regarding the money. And as you know that yesterday in a press conference, our Honorable Finance Minister Sitaramanji said that she is going to present a reform in income tax arena during this budget session, which is going to start in the last week of January. And therefore, whatever information we have got is that I think the government of India is trying to bring a major reform with regard to the income tax itself. And as you know that the budget session is going to start in the January last week, and most of these issues will be discussed and agreed upon, finally passed. I am quite hopeful that this reform is passed by the government of India. However, these reforms which are being talked about now are the major tax reforms, because when we talk about taxation in India, India being such an old country, with thousands of years of history, the taxation is also very old, because we were using some taxation because of historic reasons, and there was a need to reform this. There was a need to reform the old methods of filing tax, because in the era of digital world, where everything is tracked, we don't have to basically keep following the old things which we were doing like 50 years back. So I think this is very important to reform it, and the government of the day has been putting these measures very, very methodically, starting from demonetization. Then next year they came up with GST integration, which brought the state and the central government together on a single taxation system. Last year they brought in the single window concept of filing IT returns, and this year whatever we have heard in the media so far is that they are now talking about bringing the major reforms with regard to income tax. And when we talk about income tax, it's basically very tedious work, and people who basically file, in fact everyone files income tax returns every year, and there is a tax at source also. So what happens in a salary, that the tax based on the particular bracket is already deducted at source. So when you are already paying, say for example 20% or 30% upfront before you get the salary in hand, and that goes to the government, and you have to continue keeping those documents, so that by end of 12 months, which is end of the year, you need to again file these returns proving that hey, you have actually claimed certain tax benefits, or you have filed certain tax, you have paid certain tax, but here is my return, and you have to continue maintaining these documents. It is such a tedious job. There are different income tax return forms. It is not something which can be easily done. You have to engage with a chartered accountant. You have to send all your bills and all your records to him. He will then produce a statement which will be then submitted with the income tax department. Now this has to be done before 31st of March every year. After that, income tax officers will get into scrutiny. They go into your details. Each and every file is scrutinized, etc. It is such a waste of time for everyone, for individual citizens and for even government, to scrutinize so many records on daily basis. And it's something which we can get rid of, and this is what the next tax reforms are being talked about. And whatever we have heard so far, I mean the budget is yet to be presented, but whatever we have heard so far is that the income tax will be done away with. There will be no income tax. Instead, the new tax will be introduced, that will be called expenditure tax or investment tax, whatever you want to call it. And whatever I have understood so far, I thought I will bring it to you. See, what happens is that when you get your salary or your paycheck, the tax at source is deducted and submitted to the government, because you have already got that salary, and the tax on that based on the slab is this much, and that is already deducted. So what government wants to do now is not to do that. Instead, they will give you the entire salary, which is pretty much like what you get in Middle East. Say for example, somebody is working in any of these Middle Eastern countries, there is no tax there. You get the entire salary, whatever has been agreed with the employer. So you get the same salary. However, when you spend money, there will be expenditure tax on that. So cause and effect of this tax system would be the same for the government, because earlier government was taking before paying you. Now government will take the same amount after you spend that money. So this way, this will be very good, because then you will be able to plan how much to spend also, because each individual will start thinking that whether I should spend the money, because for spending money you will be taxed. Therefore, this is going to bring a paradigm shift in the way we actually think. And I'm very eagerly waiting for this bill to be presented in Parliament in the budget session, which is going to be starting in the last week of January. And I'm very hopeful that this will be passed. In fact, I'm thinking this is a very progressive move, because we don't want to waste our time in keeping the documents, wasting our time rather than doing productive things, keeping these documents, filing them, and then presenting, and then again filing returns. It's a very tedious exercise. Instead, even companies will benefit, because they will not be paying any income tax, but if they spend the money, make investment, they will be charged tax by the government. I think this is a very good initiative. I'm sure this is one of the stepping stone to the ultimate tax reforms, which may happen after a couple of years. But I think this is a very good step. This is something that I know. If you know something else, do share in, send in your comments. And friends, as you know, I reply to each and every comment of yours. So for today, I'll say goodbye, only to catch you again in the next one.